Anyways, I'm back. This is the first actual video that I'm recording apart from the one that I did earlier, which was my introduction to the channel. It's the same day, by the way. I wasn't actually planning on doing another video today, but this is like the main video that I wanted to make. This sort of the main video that actually like pushed me an extra step to make this channel. It was sort of the only one concrete video idea that I had for the last while, and it was just one that was really important to me, that I really wanted to make, and that I was hoping might reach some people. And basically that is my eating disorder story, history. I've struggled with mental health as a whole my entire life, pretty much. You know, I've had anxiety since I was 3. Like, I literally don't remember a time where I haven't had anxiety. Then depression since I was 8 or so. But the main reason that I want to really highlight the eating disorder thing, I don't want to say it's been the hardest out of all of them, because they're all so different and they all like feed into each other. But it's one that I always found hardest to talk about with anyone. Like, there's hardly anyone that knows. I'm at a stage where like I'll openly admit to having depression or anxiety or a history with it to not anyone, but anyone that I know decently. Like, I don't have to be close to them for me to say, look, I have anxiety, I have depression, or I have gone through this. But for whatever reason with my eating disorders, I just feel such a shame associated with it. I don't know whether it's because it's classed as like a rich white girl disorder, or just the whole, you know, like you can't eat properly. That was always the thing that really got to me about it. Something that made me feel really insecure. Like, eating is such a basic thing, but yeah, I can't do it right, you know. And that was a very big thing for me. It still kind of is. So that's what I'm talking about now. So hopefully this will reach people who either need support, because I know watching videos like these, well, healthy ones, when I was in my disorder was actually very beneficial. Especially seeing people who come out the other side of it, but also seeing people who are in the mix of it. Because I find that a lot of people with any mental illness, they don't really talk about it when they're in depths of it. It's always when things are a bit better. But, you know, it's kind of hard to relate to, because you're not there yet. And, you know, like, there's people always say how they got better, you know, but the likelihood is you've tried that before, and it's just, you just feel like you're not getting anywhere, and you feel like you're going to be there forever. And you feel so alone in it as well, because you're always seeing these people who are coming out the other side of it, but then you're not, and you're like, oh, what's wrong with me? Why can't I? Am I just going to be like this forever? So I watched a fair few videos when I was, but I still do watch them sometimes, I'll be honest, because I'm not better. I'm probably one of the worst I've ever been, one of the worst periods I've ever been in. And yeah, I watched a lot of videos, mainly Elzani's videos. I'll get back to her in a second. But yeah, I'm hoping that this might reach people who need someone that has been through a similar experience, because also I haven't seen a lot of people who've been through what I've been through. And also maybe it might reach people who know nothing about what it's like to have an eating disorder, or know no one who's had an eating disorder. Or maybe you know, might educate them, or maybe people who are too ashamed to admit they have an eating disorder, maybe it might help them in some way. So this is probably going to be multiple episodes, like a mini series, I guess, multiple videos. Like, sorry, even 5 minutes, I haven't said shit. But this is spanning, what was I was 13, so 7 years. I'm going to be covering 7 years. So it's probably going to be multiple parts. But yeah, we'll start off with, I have my iPad here. If I look over here, I'm looking at my notes, because 7 years is a lot to fucking cover. You should see fucking amount of notes I have. As a kid, as I said a minute ago, I've had anxiety since I was 4. Social anxiety. See, I didn't know at the time. It actually only took me until I was 15, really, to actually put the pieces together. I just thought it was normal to, like, feel nauseous going over to your friend's house, or, you know, just, like, be absolutely terrified of going to hockey trainings. You know, you felt like you're gonna let the whole team down, or, you know, you're scared to put a foot wrong, scared to talk to anyone. And I don't remember a time without this. There was a time without this, because when looking back at my old childhood photos, like, I was such an extroverted, like, toddler. You know, like, every single fucking photo, I'd be zooming around the gaff. You know, everything is just a fucking blur. And even if you ask, like, Rachel, my sibling, or my parents, you know, like, they would say that I was a bit shy around new people, but as a whole, I was a lot more outgoing. And then something happened at age 4. What? I don't know. I don't think I'll ever know. Which is kind of upsetting, because, you know, it's hard to move past something when you don't know what caused it. But whatever happened at age 4, I just really caved in on myself. And I was just constantly aware of my position in society, in the world, and that, like, other people had perceptions of me, and that I make impressions on people. And, you know, I was terrified of doing anything wrong. You know, like, in school, I was always the best behaved kid. I was such a fucking suck up. You know, never talked over the teacher, always did my work, always, like, did extra work and shit. Never once had attention in my life. Always got, like, A grades, you know. So there's a lot of just anxiety in general. Like, it was mainly social anxiety, as I said. Like, I always struggled to make friends. I was lucky with the school that I was in. I went to a very small school, and despite me being so quiet, like, I was very well liked. I was very popular amongst everyone. Oh shit. Oh, we're okay. Are we okay? Yeah, we're good. I thought my mum came home. She's still gone. But yeah, no, I had friends growing up. I had a lot of friends growing up. Where was I going with that? Why am I talking about my friends? Small school. Where the fuck was I going with that? Anyways, yeah, I had anxiety, very bad anxiety. It wasn't actually that bad going to school, but again, I had school related anxiety as well, you know, like academic anxiety and all that. Just basically terrified to put a foot wrong in anyone's eyes. I always want to be perfect in everyone's eyes. And I grew up in an age where technology was very present, especially in my life, more than I feel like most kids my age. I had an iPod Touch since I was 6, you know, like unrestricted access to YouTube and all that, and the internet. And it didn't take me long to end up stumbling upon shit about people's weight and all that. You know, all these miracle tummy slimming pills and, you know, this 1 week diet will help you lose 7 kilos. And then, you know, you hear about this on the playground or just in school. Like, I was never teased or bullied at all, even though as a kid I was quite chubby because I did emotionally eat, which now I can look back on and recognise. You know, in my house, we did have healthy food, definitely, but, you know, we were very well off, so we could afford to have, like, everything. And everything that I asked for, I got. And, you know, massive sweet tooth. The fridge and cupboards were always stocked full of, you know, like ice cream and donuts and cherry bakewells. And, you know, like for dinners, we had like roast dinners and pizza and chips and all that. And, you know, I just had like no off switch either. I was very active though, so like looking back, I wasn't as big as I thought I was at the time. But, you know, when you're, you know, a lot of kids in my class were like really athletic, so they were like fucking sticks, so compared to them, I looked a lot bigger. And, you know, just with overhearing things that like my parents said, or, you know, things you see on TV or on YouTube, I became very self-aware and very self-conscious of how I looked and the fact that I was bigger than everyone else. Like, I remember in second class, this is like when I was about 8, a new girl came in at the start of the year. She moved in from Egypt, and I remember being so excited because she was like the same size that I was. And this is gonna sound really shitty, but forgive me because I was 8, so I'm different now. I was really excited because I was like, oh, she's kind of bigger than me, or, you know, if I like slim myself down a bit, you know, she'll be the biggest in the class, you know, then I won't be the biggest anymore. And I remember one day we had a play date. She came over to my house and I felt like I had to prove something to her. So the whole time I just like made her fucking run up and down the road with me to like prove that I was like really active. And, you know, trying to like outdo her. You know, it's like, oh, even though we're like the same size, I'm fitter than you are, I'm more sportier than you are, so therefore I'm better than you. Like, such a shitty mindset to have, but like that's like how I interpreted the world. I felt that, you know, your appearance was to be all or end all. And as I said, luckily I wasn't ever bullied. I feel like that would have taken a very different turn. Like, even in secondary school, I was never bullied. Very well liked, very popular. With the boys and the girls, I was and still am a massive tomboy, really into sports, video games, all that shit. I was actually more friends with the boys back then than I was the girls. With the girls, like, we didn't even really have much in common, but like I was just quiet and nice, and, you know, I was gone with everyone really. So, but even still, even though no one could ever make comments about my appearance, I was just so self-conscious about it, and that very quickly turned into a spiral of depression. That's sort of when I remember my depression starting, and that's also when I started counting calories and being very aware of nutrition and, you know, what I was eating. Fucking no battery. Yeah, it started then. It didn't really take much effect until I was 13, but, you know, I tracked my calories starting at age 8. I knew how many calories were in everything I was eating. I knew about macronutrients and micronutrients at age, oh fuck, I put this on low battery again. I knew about, you know, macronutrients. I knew about how many calories each person needed. I was like taking I remember one thing, I got an old t-shirt and I cut it up. And what I do was that I tie it around my waist really tight, I tie it around my arms really tight, I tie it around my thighs really tight. So I thought that I could like manipulate the fat into like a different shape. And also I started doing like those 10-minute ab workouts, or like you can get those apps where it's like 30-day ab workouts or 30-day arm workouts or whatever. Started doing them as well. But I did lose a bit of weight actually, but I feel like I was just like puberty starting. But it wasn't really until I was 13 that all kind of hit me. You know, I was sort of back and forth with it for years, but you know, just like emotionally eating, and also at age 8 to 13, you don't really have much control over what you're eating anyway. You know, it's very much like you're giving a packed lunch, you're giving your breakfast, you're giving your dinner. You know, like I could control my snacks and all that, but I just fucking didn't. But when I was 13, I remember it was somewhere between my first and second year of secondary school. In Ireland, the way the school system works, it's got your primary school from age 4 to 12, then secondary school from age 12 to 18. So I was going into my second year of secondary school, so I was 13. And this is during the summer, I just done a season of basketball with my team. Now, I loved every single sport. I was really good at basketball, but I was really unfit. And so I was hardly ever selected, even though I was a lot better. Like, I know it's gonna sound kind of cocky, but like, my technique was a lot better than some of the other girls. But I was hardly ever selected because I just like could not keep up. You know, even if it was only just like 2 quarters I played, which how many is in a quarter? I think it was 10 minutes when we were playing. Like, I could not do 10 minutes straight without just feeling like I was dying. You know, like the beep test in P was like my worst fucking nightmare. And I remember the thing that really stuck with me was in the final. We got into the final of like the Dublin playoffs or whatever. And I wasn't picked for the team. I played like 30 seconds, I think. I got subbed on in the last quarter, so you know, like my coach should give me a bit of playing time. But that hurt me so fucking much. And I remember during the summer of, what year is this, 2017? I was just like, I need to change. I need to fucking change. I remember so clearly where I was. I was down in Wexford because my nana, my mum's mum, she owns a caravan down there, like a mobile home down by the sea. I guess our first time ever going to it, she'd only got it that summer. And it was myself, my sibling Rachel, and my cousin, and my mum and my aunt were in there as well. And either my mum or my aunt had cooked us lunch, and it was like sausages and something else. And I remember I was eating whatever the fuck I'd taken, and I went over to put my plate by the sink, and whoever had cooked had left the packaging for the sausages out on the counter. And I remember looking at it, because like the calories and were all displayed on the front of the yolk. I remember looking at it and I said something like 200 calories or something per sausage, or like fairly big sausages. I remember I did the max. I don't remember exactly what I ate or what I had with it, but I just did the max on it. I think the total amount of calories was like 800 or something like that. And I remember doing the max for what I had for my breakfast, and I knew what we were having for dinner. I did the max on that. And I think that alone brought me up to like over 2,000 calories, and like that could send me into a fucking spiral. I was like, that's far too much, you know, like that's not even including snacks or drinks or whatever. You know, like I'm only 13. I'm what, like 5'3". I shouldn't be eating like that. I shouldn't be eating this. I shouldn't be eating this much. And I shouldn't be eating this unhealthy as well. So I remember that's the very day that I decided to change. This was like 2 weeks before the start of second year. And I first myself, I did actually, see, it always starts out with wanting to lose weight, doesn't it? I did actually start out very healthy. I was very well educated on the whole thing. So like, again, I have 5 years of this, looking at ways to lose weight and looking at, you know, like different foods. Also, I was really into cooking as well, really into baking. So I knew about a lot of things, you know. I knew more back then than most adults, you know, honestly. So I did go into it very well intentioned, very educated. I started running. I did like half an hour a day, most days. Also, this time I was playing hockey 3 times a week roughly. Then I had P.E. class as well. And was I walking school at this stage? I might have been walking school at this stage. But yeah, I think like pretty much every day I was doing something. Maybe I was doing like ab workouts as well, you know, like those 30-day challenges as well. And food wise, I don't remember exactly what I ate. I do remember small bits of it, but I know that I included everything. I had protein, I had whole, what's the fucking word? Complex carbs, that's the word. Healthy fats, and, you know, fruits and vegetables and all that. And I remember I was tracking it as well. I was eating about 2,000 calories, not a bit less. And, you know, it did work. I did lose weight, but after a while, I wanted to lose more. I wanted to lose it faster. And around this period, things could get a bit fuzzy for me, because every day it kind of morphed into one, really. Also, my memories was shite as it is, but I just remember eventually cutting back on things a bit. And what did I start out with? I think it was fats at first. So I was eating almonds to get like healthy fats thing. And I cut them out. And then eventually it was dairy, I think was the next thing to go. And then it was carbs. And I was exercising a lot more. And I was at the point where I couldn't really sustain running every day, so I started walking. And I'd end up walking for hours and hours each day, just pacing the floor, pacing, rounding circles up in my bedroom, up and down, even in the kitchen. Like I didn't even try to hide it. I just go round and around the table, studying. And, you know, I always just say, oh, it makes me concentrate better, helps me concentrate. You know, that's what I always said. And, you know, eventually I ended up, I am going to mention numbers here, so trigger warning to anyone who is affected by, I should put a trigger warning at the start of the video. I'll probably put it in the title or a description or something. But I ended up getting down, I guess it's between October, I'd say, of 2017 and probably January, February of 2018. I gotten down to 600 calories a day, 200 calories per meal, 3 meals a day. It had to be 7 fruits and vegetables a day as well, because I had this thing called orthorexia as well, where it wasn't did I even say what fucking eating disorder? If you can't guess, I'm heading down the road to anorexia. But I also had orthorexia, which is basically when you're obsessed with eating very healthy foods and eating very clean foods. Everyone's definition of healthy and clean varies. Like for some people it has to be like totally organic, some people it has to be like totally vegan, some people it has to be like paleo or whole turkey or whatever the fuck. Excuse me. For me it was pretty much 7 fruits and vegetables a day. They all had to be different fruits and vegetables as well. You couldn't have like tomatoes at lunchtime, then tomatoes again at dinner time. Also, I can only have 2 fruits in a day or else it'll be too much sugar. Then I had to have protein every meal. The protein can only be white meat or it can only be white fish or prawns. And I have carbs the odd time. It was very much the odd time. I think occasionally I have like the tiniest bit of oats for porridge, or I'd have like one of those like sandwich things, or the very odd time I'd have papadum, you know, like the Indian yolks. And yeah, that was. Then also I had to drink 3 litres of water a day. And the way I did this, I literally just guzzle this right after I had my lunch. I don't know why, or like any meal. Like I just chug it to the point where like I wasn't really throwing up because of like how full I felt. I think I was just trying to like trick my hunger signals, make you feel like you're full. Also, I had to have hot sauce with my lunch and dinner because I thought that would speed up my metabolism. I had 3 cups of green tea a day, like no sweetener at all, and it's fucking disgusting, but again, sped up the metabolism. Had spinach as well on every single fucking meat that I ate because of iron. What else did I do? Yeah, I was walking 6 hours a day to the point where like I'd abandon my friends to go and walk. Like during lunchtime I'd sit with them for like 10-20 minutes, and then I'd just walk around the school for the rest of the time by myself, literally like just listening to music, just walking laps around the school. I would do squats and bicep curls. I had this massive basket in my room that had like a load of shit in it. I fill it with really heavy books and I just do fucking bicep curls and squats and all that. What else did I do? Let me see. Oh yeah, the fucking fidgeting. I was still in school at this stage. I couldn't be like fucking pacing around the classroom. So because any way I could fidget, I would. So I had both like bouncing, you can't see. I have a pen or something on one hand, I'd be like this the entire time. And then sometimes I also have like a fidget spinner in my other hand. I would be like under the table and I just have to be moving at all times, you know. It's like, even if I was like standing still, I'd be like wibbling my knees or whatever, or like bouncing on one foot. And just any moment that I could, I'd be moving, you know. Like car rides were fucking torture for me, or anything that was unplanned, anything that cut into my walking schedule, because the way I split it up was I do 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours was sort of divided between lunchtime and then before my dinner, and then 2 hours after my dinner. And so anything that's cut into that, like anything unplanned or even from what's planned, that was mental fucking torture for me. That would send my mind because absolutely racing and swirling and spiraling. Because, you know, I was like thinking, how am I gonna make up for all the calories that I'm not burning? Me, I'm fucking 600 calories a day. How am I gonna burn all this shit? So I have a few memories from that time, but again, it is very blurry. I remember on Christmas Day, I remember having a fried egg and a banana for my breakfast. This was sort of the beginning of the phasing into all this shit. For my Christmas dinner, it was a typical Christmas dinner, but very scaled back. Like, I don't think I had a starter, I don't think I had a dessert. But I had like turkey, I had a small bit of potato, and then a fuck ton of veg. I do remember this. I got a box of Lindors for Christmas from my mum. And I remember for a few weeks I could only have one a day with my lunch. I could only be with my lunch. And you know, those fucking chocolates lasted until Easter, I think. Easter that year. And then on my birthday's in January, went to see The Greatest Showman with a few of my friends. And just the whole time I was not sitting still. I couldn't even concentrate on the fucking film. I was just trying to find any way to fucking fidget, you know. And then my friend made me cake and everyone else was eating cake, and I was like, oh, I'm feeling a bit sick, I'll have it later. So I brought it home to my mum, and she had some, and she's like, are you not gonna have some? I was like, oh, I'll have some later. And she's like, oh, go on, have some now. So she kind of tell something was up, because you know, I am a fucking massive food person, especially chocolate cake, which is what that fucking cake was. Like, that's like my biggest weakness, especially if it's like a really moist chocolate cake or like almost like a brownie texture. And like, she still goes on about that cake, about how fucking good it was. But yeah, at that stage, I was cold all the fucking time. Now, I wasn't actually really that underweight at that stage. I never actually got drastically underweight, but I'm guessing it was just because my body weight declined so quickly that I started getting these cuts all over my hands. It was like sores, and my skin was flaking off. It was absolutely disgusting, and they wouldn't heal either. And like, my fingers were almost always blue. My lips were always numb. In school, I'd be wearing like 2 vests and my shirt and my jumper, and then my coat over it, and I'd still be cold. I'd still be like trying to sit at the radiator at all times. I remember, when was it? March, April. Wherever the fuck Easter was that year in 2018. In Ireland, it was about 20 degrees Celsius, which is warm for Ireland, let alone for Easter. You know, like, everyone else was out in their shorts and their t-shirts, and I was inside with the heater on, with a coat on, electric blankets on in the bed, pacing around, and I was still cold. Yeah, that's how bad it was. And you know, I was starting to get hair all over my arms, hair was falling out of my head, my hair got so straggly, and like, my hair was shit beforehand, I'm not gonna lie, but it was just non-existent. Like, I looked like, I want to say something not controversial, something that won't get me fucking obliterated. I look like, what's the fucking name of the movie? Shit, Bride's Corpse. That's the one, I think. Is it? So I haven't fucking seen it in ages. I think that's the one I'm thinking of. Just fucking gutting, like, I'm sure if you look to get close enough, you can see like fucking bald patches. My arms were always like blue and red and white, and just, I had no energy either. Couldn't concentrate for shit. Surprisingly, I wasn't actually that hungry. Like, you kind of adjust to it over time. I would have, just eating with anyone, this is something that I don't actually hear many people talking about. You're just constantly thinking about food in any way, shape or form. if you're having a meal with anyone, all you're thinking about is what you're eating, what everyone else is eating, what everyone else is thinking about you eating, the way people are eating, how much people are eating, how little people are eating, what exactly they're eating. Like, I remember judging people so hard for eating like white bagels for lunch, or for having 2 sandwiches, or, you know, feeling so guilty if someone only ate a bit of their lunch and I ate all of my lunch. Or, you know, like when my parents or my sibling ate, you know, like my sibling ate a lot back then. They're very active and they're also vegan, which very much went against what I was doing with my high protein shit. Like, they very much lived off of things like bagels and pasta and shit like that. I just remember judging them so much for it, and I thought I was so much better than them for eating the way that I ate, and like even for looking the way that I looked, for exercising as much as I did. And then also in my free time, all I would ever do was watch videos about food, you know, like Food Network. I'd watch like Gordon Ramsay videos. I watched things like The Biggest Loser or Fat Families, or, you know, it's like anything to do with weight, like documentaries about people who are overweight and shit like that. I also watched documentaries about eating disorders because I did kind of know what I was doing was disordered, but I didn't think it was that bad, and also I didn't really care, honestly. You know, all I cared about was losing weight, which I was doing, and also looking up recipes online, shit that I was going to make once I was clean off, once I was allowed to eat properly again, and making lists of all the food that I wanted to buy once I was allowed to eat properly again, and going on websites online to look up the calories of foods that I was never going to eat, and just like looking at photos of like chocolates and crisps. You know, like if you go onto like a Tesco website, you can see every single food that they stock. You can, if you click on it, you can see like all the macronutrients and micronutrients, how much fat, how much salt, how much sugar, how much protein, how many calories, the ingredients and everything. And I just stalk that page over and over again and over and over again, seeing if there's anything new, seeing if there's anything that I missed before. I'd be writing down all these ideas of things that I wanted to bake or I want to cook when I was better, all these restaurants that I wanted to go to. Going on to the restaurant websites, looking at menus, looking at, you know, it's like whatever it stocks, and planning on what I was going to have. Just constantly, all I thought about was food. All I thought about was food. And so we'll go back to January for a minute. So as I was saying earlier, the sores on my hands, the cuts on my hands, they were bothering me, but like my mom was just like really concerned about it, so they kind of came out of nowhere. It was more so my aunt that I was concerned about, because I remember her looking at it. And see, my family are very much not anti-doctor or anti-medicine, but just the way that I was raised and the way they raised me, and I just said the exact same thing but in 2 different ways. The attitude they have towards like doctors and hospitals is just like only go there when you're actually dying. Until then, just shut up, put up and shut up. And that's about physical and mental health shit. So I remember when I was 12, like I'm pretty sure I broke my wrist because I could not move it for about 4 months. Not 4 months, about 6 weeks. And like I remember the school nurse and everything was constantly at me, like, you need to go to the hospital, like that's not right, you need to go to the hospital. And I was like, it's just a risk, what are they going to do about it? We can't do anything about it, you're fine, just put a support bandage on it. Or, you know, like I could, like I remember one time my sibling, they It's fucking hilarious. I don't even know how this fucking happened, honestly. I can't remember. It's so fucking strange. I doubt anyone who watched this video is actually gonna believe me. I lived on a cul-de-sac, right? So it only connects to the main road at one end. There's only about 20 houses on it, so it's quite quiet. But we were out cycling one day and we were with our friend Keane, and Rachel had just got on a bike, but it was a bit too big for them. What pronouns do you use for a non-binary person? We've talked about them in the past. Them? Or these pronouns that you use next time. Anyway, they were cycling, and for whatever fucking reason, then at the very end of the road where, you know, it didn't continue, where it just like turned around on itself, there was just about 20 fucking bins lined up in a row, straight bins. They're all green as far as I can remember. And they could not control the bike properly, and they couldn't touch the ground either. And they just fucking plowed into all the bins like fucking Skittles. They went fucking scattering. And of course they just flop on the ground. I don't even know how this happened. The only part that hurt was right here. They got a massive fucking slit across their head. Like, it looks like it was just straight across. I remember by the time, see, I find it hilarious. I still do find it hilarious. I was about halfway down the road outside our house, and I remember Keane was like more further down the road where it's actually happened. And, you know, Keane went over to like help them up and everything. But I just found it fucking hilarious because like, it was my sibling, you know, the way you do. But then by the time they came up to me, their face was just red, like it looked like something out of a horror movie. But I don't even know how the fuck that happened. That does not make sense in my head at all. Why the fuck were all the bings in a line? That has never happened since. And of course it's when Rachel gets a new fucking bike and can't control themselves. Where's I going with that? Oh yeah, no, didn't go to hospital for that. The only time they actually did go to hospital was when they broke their arm in 5 places, and my mom was still like, no, you're fine. But my dad was like, no, we need to bring them to the hospital. Broken 5 places in like a full cast. They still blame me for that because I told them to get a handstand. It's not my fault they're fucking weak and they can't do a fucking handstand on a trampoline. How the fuck do you even break your arm in 5 places in a handstand? Anyways, it was only when my aunt was like, no, you need to go to the hospital. Or not to the hospital, just to your GP. Because they can't actually do something about it. Because, who was it? I think it was my uncle and my cousin has this thing called Raynaud's, which is basically a circulatory issue. It's like I'm not that well read on it. I think it's to do with the capillaries. They restrict, so blood isn't flowing properly to the extremities, something along those lines. But that's what she thought it was, because I was getting the sores on my hands, and apparently my cousin had them, and you can get medication for it. So, or like a cream for it, that's what I got initially. So I went to my GP, went in for the appointment, you know, he gave me this cream, told me to come back in like 2 weeks, see how we were. And, you know, as GPs do, you know, they always take like your other health metrics, you know, heart rate, blood pressure, weight and height. So I came back 2 weeks later, did the exact same thing. Told me, I think at this point he prescribed me with something, because I wasn't really getting any better. He prescribed me with these pills, said come back in 2 weeks, weighed me again, gave me height again and all that. And, you know, obviously as this is all happening, I'm losing. At this stage, I was losing about 1 kilo a week, which for a child is not healthy. For a teenager is not healthy. Like, if anything, at like age 13, 14, you should be gaining a bit of weight, not losing weight. Not that rapidly anyway. So I didn't know at the time. Every time that I went back, I go back like every second week, and then eventually it turned into every week. I thought it was always about my hands, because obviously, well, they did get a bit better, but that's because we ended up leaving winter, and but yeah, this apparently I didn't actually know this. There was one day, when was it? I think it was April. It must have been April. That can't make sense with the timeline. My mum asked to speak to him without me there, so she like sent me down and all that. And I learned this after she had said to him about my eating habits. That I was. She didn't actually know about the overexercising thing. She's still very ignorant about it, even though it's something that I still struggle with. Yeah, she was just like, yeah, like she's not eating anything. She's hardly eating anything. She's quite a lot of things. And at this stage, we had a few fights about it. One was over chocolate, because for Easter she bought me, instead of like an Easter egg, I requested these. Linked were giving these things where you can have like a Easter egg hunt kit. So there's like mini eggs and they're like mini rabbits. I think are like 50 calories each or something, and that's what I wanted them, but I was still terrified of eating them because that was 50 calories more than I usually have, so I didn't eat them. I remember us fighting about it one time. She was like, they've been sitting there for weeks and I haven't touched them. Why did you even ask them in the first place? Why aren't you eating them? So I remember I ate one, and she had to go off somewhere. She had to like do a shopping or whatever. I remember I ate one, and she wasn't around to see me eat it, which is a big thing for me because I always have to eat in front of people to like prove to people that I'm eating. But then I got like so paranoid that I ended up doing like an extra hour walking, and like I was, instead of just like walking normally, I was like speed walking around. And then over time it was about potatoes, because she was cooking potatoes and I wasn't having any of them. And she was like begging me just to eat one. I was like, no, I don't want it. No, I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't like potatoes. I don't like new potatoes. I don't like boiled potatoes. And she was just begging me to eat one. So at the end, no, start of May. What was it? I think it was like the 9th of May. I do have a rough timeline in my head. 9th of May, went back into the doctor. Mr. Ward, Dr. Ward. And he was like, he was looking at my hands the whole time, so I was going to look at your passion. I was about my hands. He was like, go into Temple Street, go into the hospital tomorrow morning, go really early, because the emergency department's quite busy. Going really early, you might see you a bit quicker. Go in tomorrow morning. So we did. I remember I brought me packed breakfast with me. I had a goat's milk frube kind of thing, which is a big thing for me because I cut out dairy, and it's like me thinking to myself that I was getting a bit better. So like, oh look, I'm actually eating dairy now. And I also had these Alpha Bite cereals, which were like whole grain cereal. I was like, look, I have carbs and I have dairy, like there's nothing wrong with me. I had fruit as well. And I just remember it took a while for us to be seen. I was fucking bored out of my mind. I just wanted to leave, but they were fucking adamant. We went at I think we left at 6. It took about half an hour to get in there. I was seen initially at about, must have been like 9:30 or something. I got bloods done at one point. It was only at 5 o'clock in the evening that, after sitting around in the department for 9 hours, 11 hours, shit. But my man, the whole time, my man fucking whinging. My man was whinging worse than I was. because a few doctors came down to me and they were like, I'm Carol from the mental health department. I actually don't remember exactly what she said. They've mentioned something about eating disorders. I think they might have said we have been called because we've been told, we've been informed that you have an eating disorder. They didn't say like anorexia or anything, they just like eating disorder. I don't remember exactly what they said, but something along those lines. You're not well at the moment, we're going to have to keep you in for a while. I remember initially it was just fear and dread, because I don't like hospitals anyway, I don't like doctors, but also it was my mom's birthday coming up, but I didn't want to miss that, and then also there is like a school trip coming up, I didn't want to miss that either. But I remember I was actually really relieved when they said, like, we know you have an eating disorder and we're going to help you. I just remember that night, like, I was terrified of the hospital, but like I did not like resist the help at all. Maybe it's because I had anxiety as well, but like I remember they gave me a fucking plain cheese sandwich, and it was the best fucking thing I've ever eaten in my entire life. It still is like probably top 5 things I've ever eaten, because there was white bread, there was butter, and there was cheese. 3 things that I had cut off that I loved for the last 8 months. And I remember that night as well, I also had cheese on crackers and all that. And I remember just being so proud of myself, because I've had dairy like 3 times that day. And I was just so excited. I was like, finally, I'm going to be free from this. I can get on with my life, you know, I can start eating normally again. You know, I can actually eat foods, you know, like I got that reassurance from people that, you know, like you can eat now. You know, like you've lost enough weight, you can eat now. You know, again, at this point, I wasn't skeletal. You know, at this point I had like lost my period and everything, and again all the side effects that I said. But I was just barely under the healthy BMI, and that led to them actually diagnosing me with an EDNOS, eating disorder not otherwise specified, which I don't label myself as. I always say anorexia and anorexic, because I think that label is very harmful for people with restrictive eating disorders, because it's very much saying, oh, you're not thin enough to be anorexic. And I remember the first time they said that to me, I just felt so pissed off, because again I just felt like, oh, I'm not taking off, I'm taking up this hospital bed, and you know, I'm just not bad enough, I don't need to be here, you know, I'm not anorexic, you know, I'm not in the healthy BMI range, but like I'm just excited, so it's not that bad. So yeah, my dad stayed with me for the first night. I was up in a high dependency unit. I was in a general hospital, by the way. I never actually went to a ED clinic or anything. I was just up in the high dependency unit for a few days. Had my own private room. I was fucking living life. I had my own TV, I had my own bed, I had my own bathroom. Only thing was I was constantly hooked up to these wires. For like heart rate and all that. It was like a constant EKG going on. And I remember I started this on the very first day. I started writing down everything that I ate in the hospital. And also everything that I did in the hospital was like a bit of a diary. And it wasn't like in detail, but it was just like, oh, I went and had an EKG today. I do actually still have that. I might put up photos or like a screen recording on this because they're on my phone. My phone won't let me transfer them to my iPad, so I can't actually read them out. But there's not anything that interesting on it, just if you wanted to pause and look at it. There's a fucking cat. You want to see the cat? Okay. Nothing actually, so I don't know what I'm not doing. Scared. There we go. Yeah, I wrote down everything I ate on my notes app because I wanted to replicate it when it came out, because I was really fucking serious about getting better from this. I was so excited, I was so determined. I ate every single thing that they gave me. I didn't move a fucking muscle the entire 8 days, or I think it was 8 days I was in there. I was in the high dependency wards for like 3 days, but then I was put in a general ward. Ate every single thing they gave me. If they allowed me to have more, I would have eaten more. Yeah, no, I was okay with this. I wasn't fidgeting, I don't remember fidgeting. I was just colouring, not a care in the world, didn't have to do my summer exams. My mum had emailed the school, it was probably my dad, my mum can't use fucking email. My dad emailed school, was like, look, she's in hospital with this, and they're like, that's fine, they're actually very supportive. I have a lot of respect for the secondary school I went to, Castleknock Community College. They helped me in a lot of ways, which I will talk about in a later video, but yeah, no, I was excited. I was very excited. Until I got out. Isn't that how it always goes? Again, I was very determined to get better, but the thing is with hospital food is that it's given to you prepared, no packaging or anything. You don't see how they make it. You don't see what ingredients are in it. And also, like, you can tell, like by looking at it. But when you're living at home, all the food is in the fridge. You know what shop your man does go shopping in. If she makes something for 3 people, and the yolk is gone by the time everyone's eating, you can calculate that, I got a third of this pack of mints, So I remember the first day I got home, one of my snacks, one of my afternoon snacks was a muffin. I rotated every second day. One day I had a cereal bar, one day I had a muffin. And this day she had given me a muffin, and it was a Tesco Finest blueberry muffin. And I had memorised the calories of it because guess who fucking stalks the Tesco website for the past 10 months? And it was like 500 and something calories, but a regular blueberry muffin was 300 and something. And I just fucking freaked out. Mentally I freaked out. I was like, it's too much, it's not what I had in the hospital, she's gonna like make me fucking fat again. This is what I was thinking, I would blame her a lot for me being overweight as a child and then having to go through the whole anorexia thing on the back of it after I tried to lose weight. So I was just terrified that she was gonna make me fat again, pretty much. And so I said to her, I was like, that blueberry muffin's a bit bigger than the one they gave me in the hospital now, Sandra. You think we could do like a half one or something, I'm feeling a bit sick, and I need to have room for me dinner, the dinner's the important bit. And she's like, yeah, fine, that's fair enough. Well, first of all, she's like, it's the same size as the one you got, like I've seen the one you get. I was like, oh no, this is like I'm fine this one, you know, stinks or it's more luxury, you know, they probably use like cream in it and all that, so it's heavier. And she's like, okay, fair enough. And you know, it started off with small shit like that. You know, like with cereal bars, I used to always get Nutri-Grain bars, but I switched them with Rice Krispie bars because they were like 10 calories less, because that shit mattered to me. With shit like dingers, I always like get her to buy like healthier pizzas, or you know, I get her to buy me sweet potato, so regular potato because it's less calories and more vitamins and all that. Then eventually it started off with me not finishing everything. You know, I like leave small bits here and there. Eventually it got to like bigger bits. I remember being like really strategic about it. I was like, okay, we'll leave like 5 bits. We'll leave like 5 peas this time. Tomorrow we can leave like 7. Actually, I didn't actually eat peas. I pretended I didn't like them because they were really high in carbs. Like shit with like pasta. You know, I'll go leave like 3 bits pasta today. Then the next time I'll leave like 4 bits pasta. Then also got back into over exercising, and it was probably worse than I had ever been because this was summer at this point and I was off school, wasn't studying. Everyone was just like, oh, you just need to look after yourself, you need to try and get better. You know, I was very much being treated like I'd been like a car crash or something. Yeah, I was back to pacing, I was, you know, like even just like everyday shit, you know, like that shit burns calories. I was in a bed 24 hours a day for 8 days straight. Of course, you're gonna gain weight that way. But even just like going to the park with my dad, going for a walk with the dog, playing a bit of football in the garden. Again, all oblivious to my exercise addiction. They were kind of like, oh, you need to like calm down with the movement of this. So I'm guessing like when a therapist or something like said to them, or like my dietitian or whatever, it was like, yeah, like she needs to be like moving as little as possible, but like also like I'm 14 at this stage and an active one at that. So, you know, like how you gonna tell a 14-year-old you can't bring a dog for a walk? Also, I was just like I was a fucking bitch back then, like, I'm gonna lie. Partially because of eating disorder, partially because I was 14. Yeah, eating disorders do make you very bitchy, very manipulative. The amount of fucking lies that I told, the amount of fucking secrets I kept, the sneaking around, you know, it's like shit like that. Like I've lied to someone probably like every hour. Obviously, that's not even me exaggerating. Like when you take into account like shit about how you're feeling, or like what you're eating, what you're doing with your spare time, how you're feeling within yourself. Like I could lie like every hour, every second hour. So yeah, at this stage I was going to about 3 or 4 appointments a week, which is a fucking lot. It's nearly every day shit. I have my dietitian. Actually, did I have my dietitian every week? I say like every second week. I don't even know why the fuck I went to her. She was a bit useless in fairness. I didn't actually mind that because a lot of my other fucking people were cunts. But my actual doctor, not my GP, my GP was in Temple Street. She was nice, she was funny, but I did hate her at the time because she was always like the one, like, you need to gain more weight, you're not gaining enough weight, you know, obviously. And she was nice about it and all that, but I also she made wait for like 3 fucking hours each time. But then my therapists, I had at this stage I had about 5, which sounds fucking ridiculous. I had 3 in Temple Street, 3 main ones anyway, and then I had 1 main one in this place called Cams, which was a lot closer to where I lived. The hospital that I went to was about, on a good day, is about 20 minutes, half an hour, but if you get caught in traffic, it can be over an hour because it's like in Dublin City. But with this Cams one, it's like 10 minutes down the road, like suburbs, Dublin. It's in Corduff. Cams is like an outpatient mental health facility, government run, government supported. Stands for child adolescent mental health service. And I'm trying to be fair in what I say about them. We'll start off with the ones in the hospital. So they're kind of the ones that I did end up dealing with the most. So I wouldn't deal with them both at the same time. The whole the idea was with it that I would deal with the ones in the hospital until all the files were transferred to ones in the outpatients. And so I was dealing with them for a few weeks after I got out in May, the ones in Temple Street. And at that point they were sound enough. We never actually really get any therapy. Which now that I know, at the time, well, even at the time I was a bit like, what the fuck's this even for? Because like we never got down to anything. It was, I don't even remember what we talked about, honestly. I was only in there for like half an hour each time. Well, first of all, we never even talked about why it started in the first place with any of them that I went to. And because I had like 3 different therapists in Temple Street, I just have the same conversation over and over again. It was very surface level, you know, like tell me about yourself, tell me about your family and all that. And you know, like say things to them, but like nothing will ever come of it. You know, like they ask like how's your family at home, like got like many fights, and I'd be like, yeah, and they're just like, okay. Then they move on to the next thing. Or like, how are you coping with this? How are you coping with like the increase in the meals or whatever? Like, oh, it's okay. Or it'd be like, oh, it's a bit hard, but you know, we're getting on with. But also I can't fully put anything on them because, as I said earlier, I was raised in a put up and shut up environment, and so that's the approach I took with therapy. I felt stupid for needing therapy. I felt like it was a waste of time. I did not trust them at all. I didn't want to tell them anything, not even just about myself, but like about my family either. So I was very reserved and very selective with what I told them. A lot of lying, especially about how I was feeling. Oh. It's only 2:30 in the afternoon. I have not been sleeping recently. Explains fucking dark circles. I've had these since I was fucking 14. Like fucking anorexia caused these. Swear to God. Leaving her mark on me. But yeah, it wasn't conducive at all. And then when eventually all the files got transferred after like fucking months, thanks government, I was just having the exact same conversations with the therapist in Cams. And that went on until start of July, when I got landed back in the hospital. Yay for me. Round 2, second service, repeat offender. Lost weight again. Heart rate. So I was actually put in the hospital because of my heart rate and my blood pressure. which was low, but not dangerously low, kind of. Maybe it's different because I was a kid back then, or like a teenager back then, but like my heart rate is still the same, if not lower now than it was back then. Like on average, like my resting heart rate was 55, which is like the same as it is now. You fucking wake up. Can't be on your video. Yeah, my heart rate was like 55, don't know what my blood pressure was. But that's why they kept putting me in the hospital rather than an eating disorder unit. Like, eating disorder units are very selective in Ireland anyway. I think they're all private. And there wasn't even like a mental health ward in the hospital. Like an adolescent mental health ward. I was just in like a general hospital. So like I got like fuck all therapy. I had like a therapy session maybe twice a week when I was in hospital. And when you're only in hospital for like a week at a time, then you have it once a week outside of it. And it's only for like half an hour as well. You don't fucking get anywhere. Like the fuck am I yawning? I need to go to sleep. I know exactly why I'm yawning because I'm fucking... Guess how long I slept for last night? Went to bed at 11:30, woke up at 5:30. And that's all on me. I can't even fucking complain. I chose to stay up on my phone till 11:30 because I was like, oh, tomorrow we're taking a rest day because I have a bunch of shit that I wanted to do today that I kept putting off. And I just wanted to get it done, so it's been bothering me that I haven't gotten it done yet. And woke up at 5:30 and I was like, fuck it, we'll stay up. I don't know why I do this to myself. I didn't have to be up. That is something I need to work on, honestly. I don't sleep enough, but I'm also like I do too much in my day. I'm just an ambitious person. I can't help it. Right, where was I? Round 2, that's where I was. Round 2, where was I the second time around? I think I was in the shit ward. The only time I actually went to the high dependency unit was the first time around. Oh shit, 5%. Yeah, second time I went to just a regular ward. That was kind of shit. I don't actually remember much about when the fuck was the World Cup. Hold on, I need to give me research. So I can't remember which one was which was the second one, and which was the... No, it must have been the second one that I was in the shit ward. Because the third time round, warning, I was in there 4 fucking times. This is why it's like, I've been going for an hour and a half. Not an hour and a half, an hour and 13 minutes. Not even at the hospital yet. We're still in the first year of my eating disorder. So if I have 7 years of this is why I need multiple videos. Yeah, second time around nothing really got interesting. I don't remember shit about it. So I just remember I got like a really shitty room and it was like all like dark blue and everything. But I remember the third time I got out and then I was out for 2 weeks and then I was back in. And the third time I was in a really nice ward actually. It's called Top Flat. And what was it? I think it was... What? For some reason I feel like it was endocrinology, but I don't think that's right. But anyway, it's a really nice ward. It was like really bright and everything. I got my own fucking TV, and that's why I was gassed about it, because the World Cup was on. So I just got to watch the World Cup the whole time. And I have a few memories about this. A fucking clown came in. He was our amazing magician. They came wearing ice cream one day. That was cool. Well, I went on walks a lot. My dad brought me out on walks because they could still not give a shit in that ward. The nurses, as much as I will complain about 10+3s in this video, mainly the mental health section, the nurses were fucking outstanding. Yeah, I went on walks with my dad whenever he showed up, went down to like a Congo street and shit. Yeah, they gave me a bunch of like arts and crafts shit to do. Oh shit, I have some of it still. I'll bring you in. What the fuck did I think of doing this? I always know what. Oh shit, I saw it in here. Oh, where are you? I made this. Made a couple of those. Okay, that's the body. I have the head. And I have a pelvis and one leg. I made a peg leg for him. And I'm trying to do everything. Yes, in there. I will say at this stage, I wasn't, if you couldn't tell, I wasn't as passionate. Oh shit, I'm covering the mic, I'm covering the camera. I wasn't as passionate or that concerned with getting better. Because when I was like making all these arts and crafts shit, I made him as well. When I was like doing all this arts and crafts shit, I'd be like standing and like wiggling my legs and all that. The nurses didn't care though. I also like to order my food. That was such a big thing for me. During this whole time, someone came up and took my order for like each meal that I wanted. I think it was only for lunch and yeah, for breakfast you just got the same shit. Also, I could get brown bread in this ward. Only this ward. I asked for it in the next time, they're like, no, we don't have brown bread. Yeah, you fucking do. I know you do. I know your fucking secrets, right? Yeah, so I had to order my food. I was sick. Yeah, like they would always see me just standing, and they just did nothing. And then like in the bathrooms, I'd be like exercising and shit. There's actually 2 bathrooms. One of them was shared with the rest of the people in the ward. There's 4 in that ward. But there's one random one down the corridor, which was not attached to a ward, and I'd always go down there so no one was ever in it. And I'd be there for like over an hour, just pacing and like doing push-ups and shit. So yeah, I like that ward. If you couldn't tell. Why am I so fucking red? Why are my eyes that colour? I feel like I look like I'm gonna kill someone. Like what the fuck? I always thought that I had blue eyes that didn't look scary, but now looking at me I'm like, that bitch should fucking kill someone. Yeah, so that ward was sound. One thing I do actually remember, which was really nice, that Rachel came up to me one day when they were out and you know they got the train down and everything, which I thought was really nice. Oh, don't tell me the iPad's dead. I fucking need you for this last bit. This clip I actually need you for. The 4th time. Oh yeah, I forgot this bit. There was this kid in there who was 5 or something, and he was in there because he had a brain tumour, and I don't think it was cancerous, I think it was just a brain tumour. But I remember just in that moment I felt so shit about myself because I was in there because I wasn't eating. You know, like I brought this on myself, and here's this kid who literally had the fucking brain tumour and he's like 5, and you know, like he's stuck in a hospital bed, and the parents were like, my dad fucking yaps for Ireland, I swear to God. They were telling him that like about all like fucking sickness and knowledge that he's had over the last while, and you know, like how dangerous the procedure is and all that. Oh, there's Sandra. I'm going to cut this video off in a second, which might just be a good thing because my iPad's about to die and this next bit is going to take a while. I just remember feeling so guilty about this because, you know, like I brought this on myself. you know, like it's completely my fault. Well, like it's not because it's a mental illness, but you know what I mean. Like he couldn't prevent getting that brain tumor. And like he's 5, he's like so innocent things. I remember seeing him after, like I was there when he went down for his procedure, and like his parents racing around in the bed beside me. And here I was, you know, like fretting about life because, you know, I had to eat some chips for dinner. You know, like it just, like it didn't change me. I won't lie, like I didn't, like that wasn't like a point where I was like, I'm gonna get better, but that was a profound moment for me. But yeah, I'm gonna leave this here, around 20 minutes later, because Sandra's back. I also need to charge this up. So, part 2 coming shortly. See yous.